I gave a handful of AI subagents a tiny budget, basically 1 cent, and asked them to do real work. Some were entirely useless, hallucinating files that didn't exist, but a few were surprisingly good, delivering clean, functional code and usable assets. There's a known problem with ultra-cheap models. You ask them to fix a bug or write a script, and they confidently say done, but when you check their work, it's a mess. If you were spending 20 minutes debugging a 1 cent result, that result was actually quite expensive. It is unpaid human supervision disguised as automation. We wanted to see if this failure was a limitation of the cheap models themselves, or if the way we structured the tasks was setting them up for a drift into hallucinations. We ran these tests inside OpenClaw, but we didn't use it like a typical chat interface where you let an AI vibe for an hour. We turned it into a strict mechanical workspace. Agents were locked to one model ID, given a single deliverable and a short deadline. Next, they were contained inside a sandbox folder. Finally, evaluation. They had to run tests and log proof before claiming success. When you apply these constraints, you stop dealing with an overly confident digital intern. You get a tightly controlled worker on an assembly line. Even with the harness, several subagents failed their tasks, whether trying to fix a dashboard issue or generate a content package. They ignored directory instructions. Some used the wrong model route entirely, while others generated walls of generic filler instead of actually solving the problem. The most persistent issue we saw was overconfidence. An agent would mark a task as a pass despite having never run a single verification check on its code. A fraction of a cent in API tokens means nothing if you have to meticulously audit the output yourself. The cost shifts directly to your own attention. But then we looked at the subagents that succeeded. They produced usable code and accurate checklists right on the first try. Their success mechanism was strict verification. They created files, ran tests, and logged passing checks. This simplifies review. Instead of guessing if drafts work, you look for objective indicators. The file exists or it doesn't. The test passed or failed. If an agent cannot objectively prove its work exists, the work did not happen. Testing these agents in OpenClaw clarified exactly how we should be building local automated workflows. 1-cent models are highly effective when you need a scaffold draft, a basic file structure, or a repetitive series of parallel checks. Instead, you should avoid giving them multi-step, ambiguous problems. They cannot be the unsupervised architects of your project. Cheap agents give you mechanical leverage. They do not replace executive judgment. You can run this exact evidence-first setup on your own machine. Set up 5 cheap subagents to tackle the same task simultaneously. Compare which finished fastest, cost the least, and generated the best proof. Then hand the single best output up to a stronger model, or a human, for final polish. That is how you get real utility out of a 1-cent agent. Let me know in the comments, what specific, testable task would you trust to a subagent?